Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat weekly here as we get through. Wow, I can't believe how far we are through the summer already, man. It's hustled through. Maybe we're
I'm,
just getting old.
I'm definitely getting old, but I don't want to talk about how fast summer's going.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're already past Labor Day and a few weeks left to go. But this is when we get into the exciting part of the season as well. A lot of finales coming up. We have our ABC finale this weekend. We have our Weekend Championship Friday coming up. We'll talk to a couple people embroiled in that a little bit. Ray Morneau, we'll get to talk to him, and Ryan Turner is going to join us on tonight's program, so we'll welcome them to the show in a little bit. We'll wrap up what happened in NASCAR at CTMP and Brighton on the weekend, and anything else you guys want to talk about. What's going on with you, Adam?
Not a whole lot, man. It's you know what? If we get bored and want to get into topics tonight, I was tired this weekend. I was too tired to announce car races, and I was announcing car races.
Yeah, I wondered how you're going to make it through the weekend. You had a busy weekend Friday, then Saturday at CTMP, Saturday night, Brighton, CTMP Sunday morning, Brighton Sunday night. How did you make it, old guy?
Not gracefully, I can tell you that much. We
No.
got to the end. Then I'm working with Tim at Brighton, and he had to make ice. I guess he works at a local arena, and they had to finish off the ice for the Junior A team in Belleville or something like that. So he was up all night between Saturday and Sunday. So we were both wrecks.
My goodness. Well, let's talk to our first guest who's already here, so we'll jump in with him. Ray Morneau Jr. going to join us here all the way from Windsor. Ray, Windsor stole a piece of my heart this week. I got to tell you, I'm a bit of an empty nester. My daughter Kenzie went away to University of Windsor, and so lots of tears around this house the last couple of days as we let one get away. But wish her the best. And she forgot something. I said, well, if you need me to, I'll deliver it to the Morneaus, and you'll just have to pick it up from them in Windsor. I can get it to them at Delaware this weekend. So that's my personal touch to Windsor. Ray, welcome to the deal. As I look farther down the Google Maps lane, it looks like it's a heck of a drive down there. Maybe first off, talk about how it's been touring around the province a little bit and the miles you put on this summer following the APC tour.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. We do both the APC series and Delaware. So I think it was 6 weekends where we ran Friday and Saturday. So it was pretty hectic. Like you said, the miles we put on the truck, our closest track is an hour and a half to 2 hours away with Delaware. So anything other than that is it's 3+. So it made for long weekends and wore out on Mondays, but it was all worth it. We had a ton of fun this year, and we still got a couple chances here to go and collect some checkered flags. But we really enjoyed it and appreciate everybody on our crew that has continued to help us, and we're looking forward to the rest of the year here.
Ray, talk about the different racetracks. You do very, very well at Delaware, taking some checkered flags there. You weren't able to get a win on the APC tour, which is not a knock because the competition is super stiff. But talk about how much you learn at all the other racetracks. Is there anything you can take back to Delaware on a Friday night, or how many trips do you need to take to these tracks to feel like, okay, I'm ready to win here?
Our goal kind of all this year was just to, when we get back to the second time around at the track, just to be better. And we were better almost every time we came back the second time. So I'd like to think next year we'd be a threat at a couple of tracks to win. Flamborough, we ended up 5th our second time back, and then Sauble, we were 2nd. So those are two that I had a ton of fun at. I really enjoyed Flamborough and Sauble. Peterborough was my first time there, so it was interesting, different track. I ran a super stock there, but that's completely different. So it was a ton of fun, but Sunset's the one that I am still just baffled on. I don't know what I need to do there, but I need to figure that out if we're going to try and run for a championship next year. So we're going to work hard on that. But yeah, it's the different tracks was cool. I've always wanted to go tour around, and this year we were able to do that. And we've had a decent year. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I think our team's pretty happy with where we're at. So we're looking forward to building on that.
Ray, the APC series has even clamped down a little bit on their race day, let's call it time. So they want to really close up the day. They made an effort to not have you guys out there practicing at 9 a.m. and racing at 11 o'clock at night. That makes it tougher for you when you go to a new place. Do you have a team or a group of guys or maybe some individuals that you're relying on to give you a good base setup? Who do you reach out to say, hey, I'm going to Peterborough, never been there. Where do I even start? Because you don't have a lot of time on race day to correct if you're way out of the box.
Yeah, so we talked to McCall's obviously a lot, and they helped us out a lot. They did the initial setup at the beginning of the year for Sunset, and then we kind of just took suggestions from there. And logistically, it was kind of hard to get the car down to McCall's to do the setup. So the rest of the year, it's been me and my dad, and it's rewarding when you can go and run good with just me and him kind of doing it and our crew. And but we do talk to McCall's. Paul from McCall's, he leads us in the right direction and gets us where we need to be. And we've gotten better, like I said, at every track we've been to the second time. We've been better, which is kind of expected. Now we got a little bit of a notebook from the first race, right? So it's nice to see that we're gaining traction with these other tracks, and like I said, looking forward to building on that, and hopefully next year we can pop off a win somewhere.
I don't want to talk about the season as though it's over. Have you met the goals that you set out with your race team though, Ray?
I think so. I mean, I at the beginning of the year, me and my dad had talked when this was all happening, and our first goal was just to not kill each other, because this is a lot of work. We get frustrated with each other pretty easy, so we've done that. We're both still here at the end of the season, but we were looking forward to just top fives by the end of the year. And like I said, our goal was to get better at every race, the second race around. So we've accomplished that. We're top five in points right now, coming back to Delaware, our home track, where we feel that we have a pretty good shot at running up front and hopefully for a win. So I feel that we've checked all the boxes, and we'll see how the car owner, Jonathan Arts, feels about it. But I think he's pretty happy with where we're at as well.
No different cars, if I'm not mistaken, between the Tour and the weekly car. Ray, how are you ensuring those cars? I guess the question is, can they be cookie cutter, and can you make your Tour car run as good as your regular Friday night car does at home at Delaware?
I hope so. We found something with our Delaware car, and we had joked talking about putting a 30 decal on the side of the 03 car. We've won 3 of the last 4 at Delaware, so we got that car really good. So we're just trying to compare notebooks from that car to what we had at the first race in the APC series at Delaware. So we're just trying to get an idea there. It's been fun seeing the differences between the cars and seeing setup wise what's different and what I like in each car. But yeah, we're trying to carry over stuff from Delaware to the APC series, and we'll see how that works on Saturday.
Just to follow up before I throw it over to Adam. Adam, hang on a second. Ray, just want to be clear for the viewers at home why you can't use your Delaware car. Is that a rules difference between the two cars, and that's why you can't just slap the number on, as you said?
We can. Just that we have there's no rule change. The only thing is a little bit of weight. We weigh after the races at Delaware. So that's really the only change that we'd have to make. But so we could take some lead out of the 03 car if we wanted to run the series. But we have championship night 2 weeks after the APC race. So we're trying to keep that one in the garage, keep it safe for the last race.
Well, speaking of which, what do you do differently with a 300-lap race, Ray, compared to even a 100-lapper?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. We ran the 200 last year, so we have an idea of change-wise what we want. But we're looking at the weather too, because it looks like it's going to cool down a lot. So you can kind of get a little bit more aggressive with some things. So we're just looking at that, just trying to make the car better for the long run. but then keep in mind with the weather how much cooler it's going to be. It's probably going to have a lot more grip. So we're going to have to see. And then with the rain that is possibly going to be there, looks like Friday might have some rain. So that might wash some of the rubber off. So we're trying to take in all the variables and go there with our best shot with what we think is going to work.
Ray, as you get back to all this travel that's been going on, and you say you try not to kill each other. Well, you almost did that with your sister, right? You guys have had some trying times. Let's talk about hotels. Are you staying in hotels? Are you staying in the rig? How's that going? What's the logistics like? And after a night like at Peterborough, are you staying, or are you guys long trucking home?
No, we try and make it as easy as we can on our crew. And my dad's the truck driver, so he has a long day working on the car. So we get rooms at most places. Delaware is one that we'll bring our camper. As long as it's hard on the weekends that we're gone, when we have the Friday race at Delaware and then the Saturday at APC, we just don't have enough trucks for the trailers to bring a camper. So we have to hotel it for those nights. But yeah, it's been fun. That's kind of, it's nice after the races. You can sit down with all your crew and have a few drinks and kind of reflect on the day. And it's been fun that way to bring a little bit of the team camaraderie to it. It's been a lot of fun.
So obviously for you, it's a passion that you would drive to Quebec City if it meant you get to race between a Friday and a Saturday. How do you keep the crew motivated? Do you have to feed them well? What's the key, right?
Well, we bring my mom along, and she does cook for the crew, and that's quite well. So I think they enjoy that. But I'm very fortunate. My crew, it's all volunteer help. They except for the food, we do feed them. But we get their way paid in. But they're just a great group of guys. I'm very fortunate. We have some of my sponsors from the Friday night car. They're on board with our APC deal and come travel with us. And then we have family and friends that come along. One family that we have is the Mayu family. They race at Buxton Speedway, and they've decided to take some nights off and come help us. So that means a lot. They're having a lot of fun, and hopefully they're learning along the way with how we're doing things, and hopefully they can translate that to what they're doing. And when I go out to Buxton, I try to learn there and translate it back to us.
300 laps coming up this weekend, Ray. How does that change your mindset from, the 100 lappers we've been doing? We get 100, we get a 200, but 300 is the longest race of the season. How does that change? And is that something that maybe you think suits your style, or are you happier if we can keep it at 100?
I like the longer races. I've always felt that I've done better in the longer races. I just find that you can get into a rhythm and kind of relax and let the race play out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. For myself, I'm just trying to get myself ready, like just stay hydrated. That's the main thing. Is 300 laps is a long time strapped into a car, and I sweat quite a bit. So I make sure I stay hydrated through the week here and get myself ready. And the crew, they're all gung-ho to get this 300 lapper underway. So we're looking forward to that. Kind of brings a little bit of the crew into it with having to stop for the fuel and do the tire stop. So they're pumped up with that.
Do you anticipate a lot of changes? Because I believe there's going to be 2 breaks, is there not? Lap 100 and lap 200-ish?
Yeah, 100 and 200.
Do you anticipate a lot of changes?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's kind of broken up into 3 100-lap races, if you will, with the breaks. So the first 100, I'd imagine, we'll just ride, and the second 100, you kind of get an idea for what way the track's going to go, because there's going to be a lot of rubber laid down. So you're going to have to change for that. And then that last 100-lap segment, it's going to be ride for the first 30 or 40, and then it's time to go with 50 to 60 to go. So you're going to have to just stay on top of the track with your changes at the brakes. And then obviously we'll have the cautions when they come out. You can come in, change tires or your adjustments. So just need to keep an eye with who's on the lead lap, where you're running, and what changes you think you need for that last 100 laps.
So much going on. Ray, why should somebody come out to the Great Canadian Weekend if they've never been to Delaware Speedway? It's a great weekend to check it out. All kinds of action. What would you tell someone who's never been there before?
I don't know. You're going to get a lot of racing in. It's an action-packed weekend. You don't want to miss it. That's for sure. It's one that we've enjoyed attending the last 4, 5, 6 years. So it's always a fun weekend. You get to go there and camp, and that just adds to the fun with the on-track action. So we're looking forward to it, and I'd recommend anybody to bring a friend. If you're coming alone, bring a friend that hasn't been. It's a ton of fun, and try and get somebody hooked into the racing deal.
And if they bring a friend that hasn't been, if you got some Ray Morneau apparel available at the track?
We do. It's very limited, but we do have some left, and I'm not sure. We might have some Dana's Desserts there too, so you might not want to miss out on that.
I got one more for you, Ray, and I'll let you go. The John Arts car, you're still working with those guys. How does that affect your program at all?
So we started out the year, we had planned on taking care of all 3 cars, and after the first or second week, we realized that was going to be a challenge with a 2-car garage and shuffling from trailers. So Jonathan Arts had talked to Pete Vanderweest, and he has been taking care of that car. So it's kind of taken a little bit of stress off of us. We help Jonathan whenever he needs a hand, obviously, and I appreciate everything that he does for our team. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So it's been a lot. It's been fun to watch Jonathan do what he does. It's been pretty impressive with the limited amount of laps he's had to run as well as he has, and to see him enter the 300 lapper, I'm very excited to see how he is after the race. It'll be the longest race he's been in, so it'll be interesting. Just it's been a lot of work, but a lot of fun this year.
Ray, thanks so much for joining us, man. Good luck this weekend. We look forward to seeing you on the track.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys, and hopefully see you after the 300 laps on the front stretch.
Right on, Ray. Ray Morneau Jr., one of the stars of Delaware Speedway. Catch him all weekend. We'll be catching his race live, producing it for Racing America with our G-Force crew Saturday night as it's the APC finale. And Great Canadian 300, excited to be a part of that. We got Ryan Turner coming up to join us in a little bit. Thanks, Ray, for coming out. Adam, anything you want to say to wrap up the Morneau story before we move on to some other topics that came in through the chat?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Ray is so popular, and you can see why. He's just a pretty likable kid. I like how hard he races. You watch him race someone side by side, he gives you just enough room for your car. Like not a fraction more on either side. Like he's just, you know what I mean? There's some people who run you just really tough, but they do it with a smile on their face. I love the way he races.
I'm fans because a blue-collar family racing at the top level and winning is always a cool story. And great people, the Morneau. So wish our best luck to them this weekend as they get ready to go. Let's cap up some stuff. Humberstone has one of their final 5 coming up this Sunday. I know as Fran mentioned, practice tomorrow, 7 to 10 p.m. If you're looking to get out there and turn some laps on the dirt. Humberstone's got practice. Practice seems to be rare on the dirt side of things, so we'll pass that along. Of course, they have a big program this night coming up this Sunday night at Humberstone. Thunderstock race, Adam. We can get into that a little bit from Friday night. We learned some lessons there. Fran also mentioned a run with your prung night, and I do want to talk because that does tie into the Thunderstock Nationals in a way you probably wouldn't think. But the big news, Adam, that we were able to confirm today, and we'll have a press release out tomorrow, and we probably should just keep it quiet, but how can we? We made a deal with TSN to get the Thunderstock Nationals, the Northern Crate Nationals, and the Northern Sprint Car Nationals all on TSN. with the TSN cameras. So that is huge for our guys to get them on Canada's National Sports Network. Super proud to be able to make that happen. Of course, let's not forget our other existing TV partners. Rev TV will show this race at a later date, and GeForce will have them all live. But super exciting, Adam. You know, you and I do a lot of work with TSN, the Field Media crew, the Canadian Dirt Tour. It's awesome to bring those cameras home for our guys and put the Thunderstocks on the big screen. TSN, I'm super pumped about that.
That's going to be very cool. I mean, really good for you. That was a big decision. I think it's a well-deserved decision. Because the thing is, you want to showcase. Like, the reason you do it is to showcase the product you put on the racetrack. And I think that Thunderstock product is as relatable to people. It's more relatable than a sprint car is, except for
sure.
the educated fans to say, hey, that's what Kyle Larson races. That's that's what I've seen on the NASCAR broadcast. But the Thunderstock stuff, I mean, it'll take people back to their childhoods.
Yeah, great story. It is an investment. You know, it's going to be more money to switch the date, but it was what we needed to do to get those cars on. And, man, they've shown up when it comes down to registration for the Nationals. They've shown up in bunches already. By far leading the registration for the Nationals weekend. We appreciate that. So that's Thursday, September 12th, the Thunderstock Nationals presented by Middleport Mechanical. We also have the Race of Champions Sportsman on there presented by Sturgeon Lubricants, and practices for the crates and 360s. Of course, Friday nights, the Northern Crate Nationals with 360s, minis, and Thunderstocks. And then Saturday is just the Northern Sprint Car Nationals, 20th edition, 20,000 to win, 2,000 to start, which is the even bigger feather in the cap. And then a good crate race on Saturday to cap off the season of week, and that's 2 weeks from tonight, from this weekend. 2 race weekends from now. This Friday is championship weekend where we'll decide the champions, and we'll talk a bit more about that. We get into Ryan Turner. A couple of point races are still up for grabs, but a couple of them might be locked down already, but we'll talk about that. The Thunderstock race, so just kind of got out of control there on Friday night, Adam. I see Ryan's joining us now, so do you want to talk to him or you want to get into the Thunderstock discussion? Maybe we should just talk to Ryan now while we got him here.
You keep teasing that damn Thunderstock race.
We can talk about it. We can bring Ryan on in the middle. He can join us.
Let's. There was no problem with the number of cars you started in that Thunderstock race. I can see why you wouldn't want to, but that's not why we had all those cautions. Look at the cars that created the cautions. They would have, for the most part, they would have qualified. If you ran 28 cars,
Bring Ryan on while we talk about this, Spencer. So if you missed it, Gail Hill from Gail's Auto Aftermarket, the sponsor, came to us at the drivers' meeting. And it's awesome when these guys make an effort to come to the drivers' meeting. Gail wanted to be there, made sure he was there to see all the drivers. And it's cool that drivers could show their appreciation for him. But he says, hey, man, how many cars here? 34. Can we start them all? I'm like, yeah, well, what a mistake that was, man, because we had caution after caution. We had our leader run out of gas. And I immediately talked to Gail after the race and look, next year when you ask me to start them all, this shows why we need to be main. We need to cull some of them off of the top, And I'll put myself in that deal. If I show up with the Thunderstock on that night and I'm a pure rookie with no experience and you just throw me out there without it being main to even prove that I belong at all, we were looking for trouble. And, as much as I try to be cocky and egotistical and think I know it all, man, at least a few times every Friday, every year I get my ass handed to me about one way or another. But welcome to the program, Ryan. I can't imagine what you guys are going through. You're probably thankful that we run that race last, so you guys didn't have to sit around and wait for that. I saw Bone was commenting he was on the road early home by 10 o'clock, which was great. Did you stick around and watch the chaos, Ryan?
No, we sat around in the pits, I think, till it was over, but we didn't watch it. We were just discussing plans for Brighton and getting ready.
What are your thoughts, Ryan, even on the Sprint Car Nationals, because we're going to start 30 cars? Does that make a big difference in terms of, do you think it creates more chaos, more cautions, or what are your thoughts there?
If you look at it mathematically, obviously it does. The more cars, there's more chances for things to happen, more chances for cars to break down. But to be honest, half the time it's, I can remember running the first Brock Line Memorial and Doug yelling at us over the radio because we'd had 7 cautions in 11 laps. And I think people get a little fired up too. It's more money on the line. People drive harder. So that causes some of those issues as well.
It's crazy when we put 34 cars out there. The racing was good, and Adam, I guess in hindsight, everybody could have said, "Oh, you're going to wreck our season," but we didn't have a B main all year in Thunder Stocks, really, that I can recall. So any night, these rookies could have come out and wrecked your night. Just so happened it was that one night that they got in the way. Ryan, looking forward to. First off, congratulations on winning Sunday night at Brighton. That locks you into the Northern Sprint Car Nationals, 20,000 to win, 2,000 to start show. You won 2 of them a couple years ago. Do you feel you might be peaking at the right time to go out and repeat your success of 2022?
Yeah, we're last couple of weeks we finished further back than we probably should have. We had a car and we were up there. We were at least a second or third place car. Let's put it this way. I don't have anything to touch Dylan Westbrook at this point, but the fact that, when you start to see him and keep him in your sights, you're closer. The Nationals is just a whole different night. You don't know how it's going to go down. You got to get through your heat race. You got a time trial. I was telling the guys after we locked in, I said, you got to make the dash. The dash makes and breaks you because, you get to work on your car and try another setup right before the race. Having the time trials, I've said this before, it changes the track. The 3 wheel pack laps, it changes the track. It's just a different way of prepping it because those cars are on it. It makes it a little bit different. I think we all know Westbrook's definitely the favorite coming in. He's shown that all year. But every night is different and you never know what can happen.
Well, speaking of which, Ryan, and tell me if you thought otherwise, but Saturday night at Brighton, when I saw that Jordan Poirier was starting on the front row, I thought, okay, this might be a good race for second. Because for anything I've seen since the pandemic of Jordan Poirier is if he's out front, he's going to stay out front. What were your thoughts when you saw the starting lineup? Spoiler alert, Ryan Turner won this feature on Saturday. He tracked down Jordan Poirier, passed him, and took that win. I didn't see that coming, Ryan.
Yeah, you know what, as you know, Jordan's probably, the Dylan Westbrook of the ESS, right? You put him on the pole, he's probably going to win or he's really close, right? So, when he showed up, that definitely made things a little bit difficult. But I said it in my Victory Lane interview that, you need those guys to show up. That's what makes you better. That's what's made the 360 class out of Schwingen so much better. Dylan coming home, all the guys coming in from New York, when Sam Haferty comes up and races at the Nationals, that's what pushes everyone to get better. We showed it there in the summer that I don't think one invader finished in the top 5 in 2 nights. We have quite the crew of 360s right now. If you're off your game one night, someone else is going to be there, right? I wasn't just worried about Jordan. I was also worried about Nick Sheridan there too, because he's been fast at Brighton as well. But, we knew it was going to kind of rubber up there around the bottom. I ran the high side early, and I just knew if I could be on his bumper when he got to lap traffic, I'd have a chance. And that's what I took. He just missed the rubber coming out of 2 there, and I took advantage of it.
Ryan, it seems like, Adam and I, we cover a lot of these pavement races over the distance, and we have what we call comers and goers. Guys are fast early, then they fade, then they come back. Different guys peak at different times. It seems like we have that throughout the season with sprint cars. In general, why is that? For example, Nick Sheridan peaking right now. We had a year where you were unbeatable. Last year, Bowman unbeatable. And you guys don't work any less hard. You don't put any less effort in. How is it that some guys hit from different season to different season? Is it the track? It's just so dynamic in sprint cars, the up and downs team.
Yeah, it's everything always changes, right? So, people may not think Ohsweken changed much this year, but it definitely has. I think there's better drainage in the infield. There's not as much water around the wall. So that lane on the bottom really isn't there any night. And I think Bowman really used that other than the slick as well to get by guys and really get speed. So that's really changed from that aspect. I feel like the tires change every year. They don't keep it consistent. I know they have a bunch of benchmarks and trying to keep it the same, but you know what? You can go from a stretch where you're getting right rears that are 104, and then next thing you know, you're getting 107s. So, just trying to keep your stagger the same and all those different things, that's what makes, racing special. You can be on top of the world one week and the next week you're not, and you got to try and keep it consistent. Brando and I always talk about, we gotta minimize our bad stretches, and those are the bad stretches. So making sure you didn't wreck anything, making sure shock didn't go bad, just keeping on top of all that, and that's what really breaks away the good drivers from some of the mediocre drivers, right?
You did a lot of traveling in the off season last year, Ryan. What have you got planned? I don't even like that we're talking about the fall. What have you got planned this fall? Are you going to do much barnstorming?
Usually when we get to the fall, it's more like, what do we got left? How we finish off the season? Do we got cars? All that kind of stuff, right? So, Brando is always looking. Dan's always looking. Where are we going next? We'll probably hit one or two if I had to guess, and then kind of get ready for the off season. But you know what? Actually, my Uncle Joe's always said it. You got to travel to get good, and I think Dylan's really proving that right now. And then even myself, we've dealt with a lot of rubber now on the road, so that rubber comes into play at Brighton, and that's where you start to really learn it, that you just cannot get out of it. If you miss that rubber, you're losing easy half a second or losing a car. So there's just little things you learn when you get out on the road and go to different tracks. I know no surface is the same, but there's a lot of lessons you can learn at different tracks.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Ryan. Dylan Westbrook's been crushing it. Last year, Bowman had a great year. Lots of talk about bullshit around Bowman. How come we don't get that squawking about Dylan Westbrook? Is it because he grew up in our backyard and we've seen him come from where he came from? We've seen what he's done. Why doesn't Dylan get the flack that other guys performing at the level he is would?
I think a lot of it's different tracks. And this is one of the biggest things, right? When people can't hook their cars up and other people are, there starts to be complaints that way. I don't think Dylan gets the flack just because of he pure out just gasses it 24/7, and he's always on the grip and he runs that line like nobody else. It's one of those deals where, and even as when I won my nationals, it was in the slick. Like I was right in the black, right? So it and the thing is Bowman showed he was human this year, right? um Things change, and even though he hasn't had a bad year, he's 2 points behind me in third, and it's just not the year he had last year, but he also hasn't had the track surfaces we had last year. There's always been some kind of grip, and I think that's really played into Dylan's favor. And I think Dylan's just found a really balanced setup right now that he seems to really like. And it's really easy to get in a car when you know how it's going to handle. It's really hard when you start making big changes and big swings. You're taking long shots, right? And the other thing is, I see Dylan work on his car every week, so I kind of know what he's doing anyways at the shop. So I already know what they're doing.
That's something you don't hear every day. I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, Ryan. So what is the shop's dynamic? Talk about that.
Oh, honestly, it's really good. So there's two teams there. Obviously, Nice 54 and Hills. It's owned by Miles Hill, and I can just explain. Friday night we got back, and none of them were traveling to Brighton. And I walk in, and the Hills guys are working on my car, like just getting it ready, helping me out, getting us prepared for the next day. Like, yeah, it's a great group, and we're really more of a team than people think at times.
You mentioned what Dylan's doing. Is it a case of that wouldn't work for you, or you putting that in your pocket for the next couple weeks?
Um, I can't drive a car like Dylan. Hands down, he drives it like no one else. There might be a couple other people out there that drive it like him. My teammate Liam's probably closer to him than I am. But he's got a bunch of buddies show up. They do the maintenance for about 3 hours, get everything washed, and they head her home and show up Friday again and get a couple things done. So, we always bug them that is that all you're gonna do tonight? And no, it's good. He's just in a role right now.
So I don't think it's reasonable for anyone to think, hey, in the first 11 races, I'm going to win 10 of them.
No.
Maybe that's the mindset you have to have. But Ryan, what do you look for at the start of a season? What is the benchmark that you set? Hey, if we can knock off this many wins or be this close to the championship going into the final night, what sort of goals do you set?
I usually set like 5 to 10 wins. That's kind of where I'm looking. I didn't obviously no one expected Dylan to be this dominant out of Schwegen. If you look at the people that finished second behind him, there'd be 7, 8 different winners, right? So it's just one of those deals. Biggest thing I set is no DNFs. Trying to make the redraw every night. Those are the little things that get you up front to get you a chance at the win. So if you're doing the little things right, it all comes together.
Brian, for someone who may be on the fence about why they should come to Nationals weekend, we ask all our guests this. Why should somebody come out to Osh weekend for the September 12th or 14th events with Thunderstocks, crates, and 360s on the big cards?
It's going to be some of the best racing of the year. I think we prove that every year. You're not going to be disappointed. When you have all that good competition come to town, and even now you've made it bigger with the Thunderstocks. And I came from the Thunderstocks. I think that's awesome. They always seem to put on a good show. There's always a battle up at the front or someone driving through the field. They always do a great job at that. The crates have been really competitive as of late. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Brian Nanico. He's been running awesome. So we're going to be pulling for him in the Nationals there. And at the 360s, 20 grand to win. It's going to be all on the line. You cannot complain with that.
Ryan, thank you for joining us, man. That's all I've got. Clinton, you got anything else for him?
Yeah, he brought it up. Crow. So Nanicoke's been on fire lately to the point that Tech's got their back up, wanting to know what the hell has gone on with the 9C the past 3 weeks. Brian has been laying down finishes. Please take him off the hook and tell us you're behind this, or you guys have been helping him out, because I felt bad for Brian. I had to deal with him. My first call this morning was his appeal from Friday. He drove past the scales with the 4th place finish on Friday and was pretty bummed, said he didn't hear it on the radio. Now, Brian, I'm not expecting you to back me up on this, but I looked at Kelly Hallett and said, Kelly, as long as you were mini stock champ 20 years ago, as long as I've been an announcer here, it's top 5 to the scales after every feature event. Heats and stuff are a bit different. I said, Brian, you're running good now. You probably didn't expect it, but you got to pay attention now. You got to be there. So Brian and Keegan Baker both had their best finishes, and both drove past the scale shack and got DQ'd on Friday, which is a shitty deal. But so what's the story there with the 9C crate? Have you guys been giving him some tweaks or some coaching, Brian?
Yeah, we try to help him out all the time, right? He's a teammate, and we just like to see him going good. I laugh that I think he's just smiling 24/7 when he gets behind the wheel. Like, I don't think his smile wipes off his face. And a little side story to that: when I rolled out onto the track on Saturday night, I was kind of having a bad night, and we were starting deep in the field on Saturday. And I looked over, I knew Brian finished 6th, and he was in the infield at the scales. I was just laughing.
Yeah. Even a 6th, so he's going to play it safe. If he finishes anywhere in the top 20, he's coming to the scales after.
Oh yeah, he's making sure. No, he's been doing really good, and I was able to help him a couple nights there when we weren't racing, and that kind of I could do my whole focus on his car and focus on him and help him out, and he's been getting better and better every week.
He's close, man. Real good. Thanks, Ryan, for joining us. Good luck as you go into championship weekend, trying to maintain 2nd place in the points. As we talk, Dylan is going to be tough to catch. Well, virtually impossible if he shows up.
Impossible.
So, Ryan, good luck in your battle with Bowman. A few points there sits between Ryan Turner and Mike Bowman, 2 of the most recent winners of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, now the Northern Sprint Car Nationals. And, it's great to have the Americans back, Ryan. One last thing, $2,000 to start. Super impressed that we could put that out there. You know, even for the
Yes.
little teams who maybe don't have a shot at winning, $2,000 just to qualify is badass. We're super happy to do that.
No, the whole payout's great, to be honest. You know, and hopefully that brings in a couple more invaders. Hopefully we didn't scare them away in the summer.
Well, I think there's got to be some of that, right? That they used to come up here, and I don't want to say it was easy pickings, but they would come up here, and there was a good chance they were going to compete for a top 3 finish. Now it's hard to even qualify.
If you look in the past, right, you know, there'd be like maybe 3 hometown cars in the top 10. Now there's about 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think awesome. Adam said it best a few weeks ago. You know, in a few years ago, a Jason Varney or Chuck Ebing would roll into Washweekend on an off Friday mid-season, and they'd be 1-2 on the podium, where they would just be there and our guys be racing. Now they're lucky to even get in the top 10 against our hometown guys. It's awesome to see how you guys have picked up the game at home, Ryan. Best of luck going into the finals here. Final couple weeks to know on the road. Congrats on your guaranteed spot. So Ryan Turner will be starting in the 20th Northern Sprint Car Nationals for $20,000 2 weeks from now. So thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Right on. Ryan Turner, 2-time winner of the Northern Sprint Car Nationals, going for a third here, and $20,000 in a week from this coming Saturday. Yeah,
pretty great ambassador too, Clint.
Oh, Ryan's a great guy. Super easy to talk to. Great for the sport. Running for one of the great teams too. Steve and Dan do a lot for everybody, and you know, just good to see them kicking back into the deal. Rick Ingram, yeah, it was good to meet you. Rick mentioned in the chat. I got to talk to Rick at the podium there at CTMP. Kyle Steckley was on this show last week, Adam. He said he would wreck somebody, and I thought he was going to get to do it at CTMP. He lined up in the right spot to wreck somebody there, going for the win. He ended up getting shoved around himself by Kevin Lacroix. Finished third, though. What a great run for Kyle Steckley in a one-off road course race at TPMP with the MBS team. So good on them. I thought we were going to have some great stuff to talk about.
We almost did. We almost did for sure. That was. I want to talk about some of the comments we've had come through too. And I want to talk about that Thunderstock feature with 34 cars in it. I think having 34 cars creates a challenge for the race director as well. So did we have a car spin out in turn 2? Yes. Was there 33 other cars racing in turn 3 at the time, in turn 4? Yes. So, I mean, I can see where they might not have seen a car spin out, but that car took off. And in the land of fender car racing, when there is a spin, a one-car spin, and that car keeps going, you stay green. So I know that Mike Thorne and the team, and this will be a very unpopular opinion, I know they were really upset. I would be too if I were them. But at the same time, if that accident didn't happen that lap, it was going to happen 3 laps from then when that car was getting lapped. There wasn't that much difference. Just the fact that he spun meant that the leaders were going to get there that much quicker. You still have to avoid everything on the track. And we've watched sprint cars do it, leading races, try to cut close to the right rear corner of a car they're trying to lap, catch the right rear, and flip out of the ballpark. It's a similar sort of deal. So I don't think you can blame the number of cars on the track. I don't think you can blame the fact that no caution was thrown for that incident in turn number 2, a one-car spin where the car kept going. It's just a shitty deal. Shitty deal for Mike. Like I say, I would be upset too if that's how my night ended. I would be upset if I was Mark Fawcett for how the night ended out of fuel. But who could have foreseen that many yellow flag laps? There was a lot of things, but you can't point to, oh, there was too many cars on the track, or oh, this, or oh, that. It's racing. You put your car on the track, you run the risk of any of those things happening. You run the risk of all those yellow flags. You run the risk of a lap car getting in your way. You run the risk of an official not seeing something that you think they should have seen. Because guess what? There's 34 cars on the racetrack. The racetrack is very big, and the race director stands in the middle of it. You cannot see everything.
Even taking it back to 28 cars would be weak that you can't see everything. That's why I never wanted to be the race director. It is not a fun deal. Yeah, and I mean, we try and put on entertainment. We try and get everybody in the show. There's two sides to every story. We're never out to just try and screw anybody over. And I felt bad. Mike Thorne sent me a message, and I just didn't know what to respond. It was Friday night. They weren't happy. I mean, as a promoter, what the hell am I going to say to let you know? Back to the running out of gas. In all the years we've had this race, we've never run out of gas that I've been aware of, or it's never been an epidemic of cars running out of gas, let's say. Ryan Beagle pulled over to say, we are going to run out of gas. And I'm thinking, man, I hope it doesn't happen. Mark Fawcett didn't make it, but I guess I can look at him and say, well, everybody else did make it. So, if 10 of them, half the field dropped out, then maybe we have a format issue. But if only one guy didn't make it on field and everybody else did, it kind of looks at like, we could do things a little bit different, but not make major differences.
For the record, I don't think there ever needs to be a 55-lap Thunderstock race. At the same time, I'd be the same one to say, hey, let's go 100 laps. But you don't need to. It's unnecessary. And the night went so well up until that Thunderstock feature. It was a shame. When even the drivers...
It was quarter to 10, man, when we rolled those cars out. It took an hour and 15 minutes. So, I don't know. Hey, like I've been saying a few times here, they can't all be gems. You're going to have a stinker now and then, and that was one. Gale got his money's worth. Family loved it. Getting him up there for the 4 wide was cool. A lot of positives still came out of the night. And, other than Fawcett running out, the right cars were still there at the end. That's what I look at. On paper, are the right cars still winning? Are we still getting the right people to tech? Or did the format or the race screw up the natural progression where we should be, I guess you could say, or the natural pecking order, and I think everybody was punching at weight. So,
and well said there, Winkus. Listen, the fact that we have so many freaking cars in all the classes, you're gonna have drama and you're gonna have controversy. The fact that we don't have more controversy is pretty damn impressive.
Someone wrote the amount of laps earlier. I can't even imagine what the total amounts of laps we were. It was also backpack night. Gave away 250 backpacks, which is awesome. Grant County Tire, Epic Racewear, Shwegan Speedway GSR stepped up, gave away some awesome backpacks to a bunch of kids. I got one here. Let me just show you. These are the backpacks we gave away to kids to go back to school with this week. So Shwegan Speedway and Epic Racewear. And this year, Adam, we got them stocked. So most of them came with a pack of school supplies, which is awesome. So Epic Racewear paid for all the school supplies. We bought the bags, and thanks to everybody for coming out. And multiple different colors, and lots of kids went away ready for school. Courtesy of our drivers, teams, and sponsors, we definitely appreciate that. Just wrapping up Bush weekend, going into it this weekend, Adam. Championship night. Dylan Westbrook's got the massive lead over Ryan Turner and Mike Bowman. Good crate battle coming down, and it could still go either way. Stratford's got the advantage over Jesse Costa coming in the final night. Ryan Beagle pretty much going to be untouchable as he heads off to a championship this year. Going to take a lot to upset his night. And then we've got back to the mini stocks. Jillian Hill's leading Alex Riley, and the girls steal the championship this year. It'd be great for Glenn and Jillian if they can get done. Alex Riley's had a heck of a year too, and two great drivers are going for the mini stock championships. All be decided this year, so or this Friday, sorry, for the season. Excited about that. Just run down list. Brighton Sprint Weekend, 2 nights of sprint cars there. We locked in 4 more drivers to the Nationals. Josh Fern and Adam Turner on the crate side, along with Brett Stratford, will be the guaranteed starters so far from the crates at the Nationals. And then on Saturday of the Nationals, it will be Dylan Westbrook from his Thunder on the Grand Wins in July. Tyler Pallas, who picked up the win Saturday, and Ryan Turner picked up the win Sunday, will be our guaranteed starters for the 60s heading into the weekend. Excited about that.
And that's a big deal for Josh Verne and Adam Turner. No slight against them, but for when they come into us weekend, it's tough to get into the show because they're having to adapt to a different track that there's already 35 drivers who are racing on a fairly regular basis. So them being locked in, Sure, it's a shitty starting spot if you have to take it, but it's a spot in the dance.
For sure. And they can still advance their positions through heats or qualifying and the dash to move up as far as they can, but very least they'll be entered into the race to get that going. So we're happy to help out right in there. Before we do our Burger Barn Biz Week, a couple of other topics. Fran brought two things up, and they're kind of tied together. First, he asked, "Well, run what you brung," and then is there mini stock nationals in the future? I mean, how can we look past the mini stocks? Eventually, I think we're going to have to do something for them and figure that out. If I foreshadow a bit, I think the sportsmen were put on the card on the Thursday as a rainout. If the Thunderstocks works out and it doesn't turn out to be a midnight Thursday, I could see us possibly doing a mini stock Thunderstock Nationals on the Thursday, Crate Nationals Friday, 360s on Saturday, possibly going forward in the future. But we'll see how that Thursday night plays out. But why it ties into Run What You Brung, Fran, I originally went to Greg Callanan with the Run What You Brung 4-cylinder and 8-cylinder idea with the thought process of putting them on that night on the Thursday. And the idea would be to get, for example, Matt Williamson out there in a big block modified, because it's Run What You Brung V8. He can run whatever he wants. Get Stefan LaFrance up in his Run What You Brung plexiglass winged car that he runs at Cornwall. Other guys can do whatever they wanted. It would have been an 8-cylinder Run What You Brung, no sprint car chassis. So no sprint cars will be allowed, but anything else. And then we're going to do a 4-cylinder one. So, for example, the Comp 4 cars at Brighton that are too illegal to run with the mini stocks could come down and try out the Usher. Greg Callan's one talked me into it. So why not Thunderstock Nationals on that night, man? It just makes sense. And that flipped the switch from Run What You Brung to hell yeah, Thunderstock Nationals. And so Greg Callan gets the credit for that, along with his idea for Applefest all those years ago. We're talking Brighton.
Yeah, smart guy, that Greg Callan.
Yeah. Really PC on dirt, Run What You Brung. Yeah, I don't think those APC cars are a little too precise to run it on the dirt. And it's one of the NASCAR cars are older technology. They're a little more rough and tumble, right? Yeah, Richard, if we had a 4-cylinder open, you could run your turbos or whatever you want, but we're not quite there yet. Maybe somewhere down the line. Where do we go? Oh, we got Burger Run Vid of the Week. We got to have some fun there. Do we have the Dexter Stacy Crash, Spencer? Are they all just in a file, or can I pick and choose? We should probably show the Dexter Stacy Crash aside from the other ones. All right, let's show the Dexter Stacy Crash. What happened here, Adam? What do you know? Coming in turn 3 of CTMP Sunday, man. This car hit the wall a ton. Roll it, Spence. Guy to the left side, right where they're coming around the berm there.
Bam. He went in, exited turn number 2, down into turn number 3, went to hit the brakes. The pedal went right to the floor. No brake pedal whatsoever. So thank goodness for the tire wall indeed. And I'm curious what the extent of the damage is. I was talking to Ron Easton today, the crew chief on the one car, and he was saying, it might not be as bad as people think, because it hit that tire wall a ton, but then got airborne and landed on top of the wall. So it didn't show that again, Spencer. And watch it, like he creams the tire wall, but then up in the air and sits on top of it.
Still, man, crazy that it just kind of popped him up in the air instead of, stopping him. Because, pretty wild. Good thing Dexter's all right. We got to interview him post-race. He seemed all right. And we even saw him on the way out of the track, and he was riding a scooter around like nothing happened. So that's always good. Jason Hathaway was also in that. He was okay as well. So, good story. Burger Burn Viz of the Week, Adam. We send this shit through any time of the night, any day of the week. Our last video came an hour after last week's show. We have a dump account we throw them into. Who knows what we're going to get? So mix them up and let's see our Burger Barn Viz of the Week. Before we get into that, don't forget, Petra Plus Travel Stop, located right beside the beautiful Burger Barn, is open with a variety store and all your gas needs. If you need it, they are there. And look at that, right on the bottom of the screen, as we said. Petra Plus Travel Stop is right connected to the Burger Barn. Don't forget, Burger Barn, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Great day to go in and check out some of the best food around. I love it when the racers from out of town come in and say, well, got rained out. Going to Burger Barn anyways. So, love it. Let's see our Burger Barn videos of the week in no particular order.
And he ended up...
Hey, watch this guy.
So he's third now. Make that fourth. No, make that fifth.
Oh, Max Johnny's. We've seen 4 in 1. We've had
Show that again.
We've got another.
So this guy is 5th place.
And he won the race.
Takes them all on the inside like nothing.
Fourth. No, make that fifth.
Oh, what a pass.
We've seen 4 in 1. We've had...
Pretty awesome.
That was awesome.
What else we got? Keep them coming. Oh, how about a little car hockey? Look at the crowd they got. It's like a stadium crowd full of people just for car hockey. Listen to them chant.
Justin keeps it alive. Turner wasn't there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin hits there. One shot. Justin! This is Rocket League.
What was rule 1 that he broke?
I don't know. I
Okay.
didn't catch that, but yeah. How about Briscoe's run on the weekend? That was pretty awesome too. That was a hell of a pass on that restart.
The last 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, wild stuff. What else we got, Spencer? Damn, look, this car just comes apart. The body was already giving up. Before it even hit the ground, it was like, I'm out of here.
Eesh.
All right, keep them coming. Oh, track drawing at Oxford plates, 60 streetcars. This is old school Syracuse kind of stuff.
Where is that?
Now, Oxford playing. How many people would pass that breathalyzer at him after sitting around?
You know, none of them. You know why? Nobody's bringing a breathalyzer. Some of them would have been better off getting out and breathing on the track rather than driving around it.
What else we got?
Brought all the money we could. I'm literally not even making $1 this year, so.
If you're confused by this is actually fairly common. If you have to bring $2, $3, $4 million to a team nowadays, which is about what it takes, in order to get paid, you're gonna have to bring 2.1 million, 3.1 million, 4.2 million, whatever that is, to get paid that extra bit, unless the team has bonuses. But typically, you're kind of paying for your own salary, so you got to work that into your deal. Very common not to get paid for some of these pay-to-play drivers. Just the world of racing we're in nowadays.
What do you think of that, Adam? Pretty wild that a top-level sport like Xfinity, or that, just to stay in the game, you're not making any money. Seems to me like it's a sad state of affairs at what should be the top level of your career. You worked your whole life to get there.
It's just reality. I have heard rumors that Stuart Friesen had talks of going Xfinity racing, and part of that was he wasn't going to get paid. And I don't know whether it was Stuart or whether it was Mr. Larson. Say, why would we move up? Why move up to race for nothing? That makes no sense.
Yeah, and it's hard. You have a hard time believing, minor, like semi-pro hockey players and that would be, going through it. Even at the AAA baseball guys, they mostly have contracts and are working their way up in the deal. I don't see any of them playing for free. Maybe not the money they want to be making, but certainly not playing for free.
But on the other hand, they're gambling on themselves, right? And if you can't bet on yourself, who can you bet on?
Yeah, I just think it's a shitty way that our sport is never going to make it if you can't make it on just talent. I mean, it's something that's been that way for a long time. But It used to be easier to get in on talent. Alex LeBay would be someone to talk to on this, as Mike Kerr says. We'll work on possibly doing that. Alex, we haven't had him on. He'd be a good chat. What else we got, Spencer?
Last ball, the track gets the win. Who wants little more? The 3, the 2.
Okay, so this guy has a whole channel. This is our stupid video of the week. There's 75 videos of this guy trying to figure out. He's calling it. Look, he's got tickers going about who won the last race, and he's just throwing shit at balls on his treadmill to see what the last ball is.
Down to 3. The solids will bring it home. Who's winning race? Race number 1, Bama gets wide. Bama wide, the tap, the 3 loose. The 3 digging deep there in the back.
It's so
the 3
stupid.
trying to hold on. The 3. What a save.
It's very stupid.
3 racers on the track. Last ball on the track. gets the win. Oh, the double tap. Guys, the red 3, the prime ball. The prime ball.
Look, he's got screens and scoreboards.
Let's go.
Theme music.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
And do you know where that was being filmed, Clinton?
In his mom's basement, of course, right?
Yes! You nailed it!
All right, what else? Oh, hey, look at this. This is an awesome type of sim, or I don't even know what this is on, but the graphics in this are awesome. Well, watch when this guy backs this one in at him. I think this is the video. He pitches it like Dylan Westbrook from a mile away. Looks like a lot of fun, though. No?
Does so.
I think it's right here. Look. Look how far he pitched that in. Back that thing. Look at that sim rig. E-brake, shifters, everything right there. It's crazy.
Oh, sweet.
The toys these guys
Going
have.
well.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look what happens. Now, here's Barbara Hepworth coming into the corner, turning through now. And just really, oh, that was very, very, very hard when she hit. Well, I don't know, Mark. That looked like she just steered straight in. She's lost something. Maybe something broke.
Well, I think, Darryl, what's happened is
I don't know how
maybe
they
at that
caught
end
on
of the circuit,
fire.
it's had a few spots of rain because Barbara understeered straight into the fence, and then 2 other karts that went straight in behind her. So, there's obviously
Quick, kick him in
something
the
very
ass.
slippery
They'll
on
know you're on
the
fire.
circuit. All 3 karts do the same
Well,
thing.
the trouble is they're in cart suits. They're not fire resistant.
Good point. That
Those
would
things
be,
will melt.
Wouldn't be very good. Anything else, Spence? 2 more. All right. So this was at Crystal Motor Speedway. This is the GLSS race. Play this again, Spencer. So this is a throttle sticking during like formation laps, Adam.
Yikes.
Play it again. The car just comes bucking up through the infield. Throttle sticks on the sprint car. Look at him come trucking through. It nearly hits the pole. Oh.
Yeah, thank goodness he missed that pole.
Now, this is why you got to be on your toes at Rush Weekend in the sprint car tracks. That could happen in the pits. It happened to Glenn less than 10 years ago in the pits. If you're moving your car around, if you're firing it, cars, drivers, buckle in, helmets on at all times, man. That could easily happen to you. It pains me out when I see drivers firing off their cars at home without fire suits and belts on. It's just, you're asking for trouble.
Yep.
One last Burger Barn video of the week before we cap off tonight. Who knows what it's going to be? Spin the wheel of trouble. Oh, this is Millbridge, Adam. They built a dirt road course. I think we need to try this. This looks like fun.
Does so. Can you do it at the track at Oshwegan?
Oh, yeah, we could. We did it for bikes not too long ago. We did it for the flat track bikes. They had a TT course like that a few years back where we cut a couple roads through the infield of the big track.
Let's do it.
That'd be awesome. Big track karting. I don't know if our track's smooth enough for that. Anyways, but 2 weeks to go last weekend. I can't believe it's crazy how fast the season went by. This hour went by pretty fast. I want to thank Ryan Turner and Ray Morneau Jr. We have a busy weekend coming up. You and I have 3 days of action. Championship night at Oshwegan, APC Championship night Saturday at Delaware, and then NASCAR. Round, I don't know what round it is, but 2 to go. Delaware and Montmagny. It will be a Delaware Sunday afternoon for that one.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. Thanks, Spence, for everything you do. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us on a Tuesday. Make sure you go to the races. Bring somebody new. We only got a couple weeks left. Let's get some new people in the sport before it's too late. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll talk to you next week.